Okay, so thank you everybody. Thank you for the lovely intro. I really enjoyed the talks, and as said, I lead the LinkedIn ad business here in Israel. And what I'm going to do very rapidly, maybe 10, 15 minutes at most, I'm going to take you through highlights of our product roadmap. I'm going to focus on measurement and targeting, and not only. It's going to be very quick, but my objective is to get you curious about the things that LinkedIn is launching. There's really a lot going on, maybe even a bit excited. And encourage you in the new year when you're back in your offices to roll up your sleeves and really make sure that you're making the most out of the LinkedIn tech, the platform. Mayan touched a bit on this kind of competitive thing with Reddit. We are really picking up our game, and I promise you, you're already getting good results from LinkedIn. You're going to get even better results next year. So, why should you listen to me? And with all due respect to Reddit, LinkedIn is by far the largest professional network out there. You know this. We have 1 billion users and growing. These are people who come to us, tell us about their job titles, their job histories, and most importantly, in my opinion, for marketeers, is that they come to us regularly, 40% on a weekly basis, to consume professional content, right? So, ideal place for people like you to meet your prospective clients, right? I think it's pretty obvious. Next slide, please, Billy. Okay. And I want to address the elephant in the room. I think, Billy, you opened this. This year, and this is my first year in Israel after 16 years, it's a bit of a shit year, okay? It hasn't been the easiest of years. I don't even want to talk about the war and how terrible it is. Just from a narrow business perspective, things have been very, very hard for all of us. And I think we all need to do more with less. Resources are shrinking. There's a ton more pressure. There's a lot more competition. But whether we like it or not, okay, the business, the world business, the global economy keeps going. And, I've seen from experience that if as marketeers we take our foot off the pedal, we are going to have a big problem, right? Sales cycles are long. And if you are, taking a few months to rethink, you're going to have a problem. Your pipeline will shrink or even dry out completely, and you'll have to really rethink your whole strategy. And it is kind of us to keep going. And, as the business keeps going globally, your competitors abroad are not slowing down, right? So we did a recent survey. 67% of US marketeers, B2B marketeers, told us that they are planning to increase budget in the coming year. So sadly, as much as, and I'll be honest, nobody really is in the mood to do anything in Israel right now. We really have no chance if we want our businesses to go forward. Okay, next slide.
Percentage in Israel?
So, no, this is the US. So 67% of US B2B marketeers are going to increase budgets next year. Now, I'm not, brave enough to tell you to increase budgets. That's not, I think you should, but it's not why I'm here today. That's not my main point. My main point is that you should aim to really exploit the technology, targeting, measurement, creatives, everything, to deliver the best-in-class B2B marketing you can do. And I think Mayan maybe said it, that we often, this hideous graphic, forgive me, essentially it's the B2B consumer journey, right? We all know this, a lot of touch points, long, complicated, a lot of decision makers. But what I end up seeing, and over the last kind of year and a half here in Israel, that even the best B2B marketeers here, they typically focus only on bits of this, usually the lower funnel, or maybe the beginning of the funnel. They don't really look holistically at the full journey. And by doing this, they're missing out, right? They end up either with the most expensive traffic or poor results. They don't optimize for real world outcomes. They don't build a pipeline. They don't really drive the business. And things become really hard to justify. Next slide. Now, I'm going to take you through a shopping list. And I don't like going through lists. But I'm going to take you through this list of new features that we're coming up with. And I hope it will land with you. My idea is to just show you that there is a lot coming, right? This is not a training session. So you will not learn everything you need to learn, but the objective is that you go back to your offices and you spend that time challenging your team, challenging your agency, challenging LinkedIn to really squeeze out and implement everything you possibly can in the system. And there's a lot coming. This has been an amazing year for LinkedIn. I'll start with targeting. So targeting is kind of the bread and butter of LinkedIn. We have these amazing audience signals. You know this. We've got great targeting, and we're actually improving. And LinkedIn is spending a lot of money on leveraging more kind of AI-based predictive elements and technology to make it easier for you to find the right audiences for you, the most effective audience, to bring in intent and other things. And there's a bunch of stuff, but I want to call out 2 features. One, predictive audiences, very straightforward, lookalike type thing that you know from probably Google and Facebook, but please use it. You kind of tell the system what's your best performing audience, and it will find you a similar audience. Okay, straightforward and really nice. The next feature here, and this is something I think is quite cool, buyer group targeting. This is LinkedIn unique. No, I don't think anybody else has this. We all know that more than one person in your prospective client affects the decision about buying. It's quite hard to find these people. And we are going to use our predictive algorithms to identify these people based on what you define. It's very easy. You can see this kind of mini demo here. Because it's a PDF, it's not running. But the idea is that you kind of choose your industry, you choose your market, and the system at the click of a button tells you all the people within a company, and this is kind of in real time, based on their browsing history, etc., who you want to target at a given point in time. Okay?
Dynamic audience?
By dynamic, what do you mean by dynamic?
I just didn't understand what you were saying.
So this is, thank you. So I will start again. Yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate that. I didn't ask you to ask this, but it's a good question. I'll kind of take a step back, right? Do we all know the concept of the buying committee? Yes. Right? So a lot of people now, between 6 to 10, will influence the decision about buying your product. Of course, C-level, but also practitioners, junior people, who will then end up talking and will make this kind of final call. And it's hard to find these people. It's really hard to target them. And we end up, I think, often targeting more senior people because we don't know where to find the practitioners. Okay, but we know who in a company is involved in these decisions. We know what they're interested in. We have the history. So what we're going to do, you're going to, for example, tell them, how do you define your industry? VCing, technology, events. Yeah, video. My industry is video. This is the market I operate in. This is kind of my audience. And boom, you'll get a list of all the people, or an audience that includes all the people within the companies that you should target. And then click of a button, boom, it's in your campaign.
As a percent. Now I'm looking at the high intent audience. This is something that always changes. So are you talking about dynamic audience that always change with the time? Or you're talking about this potential
it's a good question. I don't know if once you export the audience, it keeps changing. I think not.
That's for sure not.
But it's in real time. So when you do the action, it's the audiences that are engaged. It's not some historical thing. It's kind of like predictive audiences. It uses real time behavior. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And it's coming out H2 next year in a few months. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, I want to talk a bit about measurement. So I think, when it comes to measurement, there's 2 things you want to think about, right? And I will say we're all obsessed with measurement. We measure everything. But I don't think we always measure the right things. In fairness, and I think especially in Israel, we measure a little bit narrowly. We measure kind of low-hanging fruit, the things that convert, which frequently puts LinkedIn at a slight disadvantage. You said Reddit is cheaper. I'm not sure. We looked at it. We can debate, right? I think if you look at the whole thing, it might not be. And you want to do 2 things. You want to think about, are we really measuring the full consumer journey and kind of real-life outcomes? And that's important because if we do that, if we measure the real world, we can then optimize effectively and actually improve our campaigns, right? And if we measure just one bit of it, we end up actually optimizing for something that's not ideal, and often we optimize for the most expensive traffic, most expensive audiences. So one, you want to measure, the real journey. And 2, and again, I'm speaking to people who know maybe more about this than I do, the privacy landscape is changing. We're going to have we already have a problem. We're going to have a bigger problem with cookies, all the new laws that are coming out. So this year, you really want to make sure that if you haven't done it so already, that you bring in all your first-party data back into your campaign so you can control it and you can use it. Okay? And I think, you all know this intuitively. And there's a host of products that are coming that are going to enable you to do this. I'm very proud to say, so when I joined LinkedIn about a year and a bit ago, I worked at Google before, our measurement stack wasn't amazing. I'm very proud to say that on the back of an Israeli acquisition, I saw Ro'i Nar here somewhere, LinkedIn bought, there he is, LinkedIn bought Oribi, a fantastic measurement company led by Iris Shaw. And basically, the Tel Aviv office has become the hub for developing measurement products, and they're doing an amazing job, okay? And the flagship product that they recently launched is Website Actions. Who here has experienced Website Actions? You asked me about it. Okay, wonderful. Basically, what Website Actions allows you to do without any complicated tagging, just using the basic tagging, no coding required, you can get insight on the interactions across your website. Right? And we spoke about websites earlier, everything from signups, demo requests, visiting a page, whatever that is. And you can do two things. You can set objectives on website behavior and optimize your LinkedIn campaigns towards these objectives and let the algorithms run. And you can also, just with a click of a button, just export these audiences, these audiences that have done something on your website, and remarket heavily on the back of them, okay? Very, very easy to do. I've seen it, click two buttons, boom, you have the audience. And we've just come out of the beta. The results have been outstanding. The Tel Aviv office got a lot of compliments. Roy here is nodding. We saw overall in the beta group, I think it was less like a decrease of more than 50% in cost per action. That's huge. And an average 30% improvement to CTRs. This, real improvements. Specifically, I wanted to bring Cognizant as an example. They tripled their conversions, and these were demo request conversions, so hardcore conversions, and they improved CTR by 135%. Okay? Next slide, please. Another cool thing that's coming out of the office here in Tel Aviv, we call it Copy Conversion API. You might know about this from Facebook and Google. They have something similar. Essentially, it's a relatively straightforward integration between your CRM data and your LinkedIn data. And what it does two things. One, you bring in your high quality, high fidelity first party data into the mix. And two, you can really optimize across the kind of funnel, right? Not just a bit of it, and start seeing true impact of your LinkedIn campaigns and optimize towards that. It also makes for much better relationship between sales and marketing, which I think is, as we all know, is fundamental for good ABM, good ABX. So it's very powerful. It's really new. I don't think anybody in Israel is really using it yet. Maybe one or two clients. It's a little bit of a heavy lift. I think it's worth it. You can either do direct integration or you can work with a partner. You see the partners here. Which makes it much more easier. It costs a little bit, but I think it's totally worth it. Make sense? 5 minutes, okay, I'll go. And there's a bunch of stuff. We spoke about branding earlier. I think it's important. We also have a host of new products that will make it much easier for you to get a sense of the uplift you're getting from branding activities, better brand lift surveys, and a conversion lift study. Another tool that will help you understand the conversations happening around your brand on the back of your campaigns. Definitely worth it. It will also make, and we know this from studies, it will make your lower funnel campaigns, your lead gen campaigns, much cheaper. Okay, I can guarantee that. Okay, I'm very close to finish. I do want to say a few things about creatives. I think B2B has made leaps and strides on better creatives over the last couple of years. It's very important, and what LinkedIn is doing, we're expanding the canvas, and we're giving you a lot more tools to do cool creatives using the very powerful LinkedIn audience signals. The first thing I want to talk about, if you scroll up, connected TV. I hope everybody here knows what connected TV is. And now we have, I think, like 50 partners of big connected TV players. You can see some of the names where you can use LinkedIn's audience capabilities to target people you care about through videos that are being shown on connected TV. I think everybody here spends offline, spends on programmatic. Now you can do that with the audience signals that only LinkedIn have. Very, very strong. It's currently in beta, maybe 2 or 3 testers here in Israel, but happy to talk about it further. Fine. I mean, maybe just on ad formats, I don't know, thought leadership ads launched last year, extremely powerful, allows you to promote posts within your companies, create this one-to-one connection with your prospective buyers. Great results, great engagement. I recommend you have a look specifically at thought leader ads if you haven't done so already. I'm getting to a close, and I'm sorry for the shopping list. I'm dumping stuff at you, but I don't expect you to remember, but I hope you get a sense of everything we're doing. And finally, just on campaign management tools, I think, I don't want to say something that's bad for LinkedIn. I think, I worked for other companies, and I think LinkedIn is slightly harder to maneuver potentially. It's kind of more a Ferrari than a Volvo, let's say. but we are making it easier to manage. We're launching a host of tools with AI that will generate automatic campaigns very quickly based on some signals you give the system. And we're also launching, finally, I think it's long overdue, a media planning tool within the interface that will give you a sense of cost and impact that you can get based on your media plan. Next slide, and the last one. So, look, the kind of point I want to make is that there's no, and somebody said it better than me before, there's no secret to doing effective B2B marketing, to being competitive. I think the way to do it is just constant testing, constant optimization, and to really make use of the tech that's at your fingerprints. There's a tremendous amount of stuff coming out of LinkedIn. It's not going to be what you might be used to a year or 2 years ago. So I do encourage you to challenge your teams, challenge your agencies, challenge LinkedIn to just squeeze that much more value out of us and improve delivery. Thank you very much.